Coming up, chatting more Kata with one of the toughest competitors right now in Australia, Dylan Fisher. Injury struggles, balancing work and high-level competition, and we'll even get his thoughts on how Kata differs from local level all the way up to the world stage. All of that follows after our talented friend, Good Fortune. Welcome back to the Kaizen Culture Pod, where we are keeping the conversation moving within Australian karate. My name is Mitchell Durham, here as always with John Stainer, and now we've got a special guest with us, Dylan Fisher. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts, whether it be on Apple or Spotify, and we're also watchable on YouTube. Please give the podcast a rating if you are enjoying the content, because it helps us out a bunch. Now, Nathan's away today. He is on unapproved leave in Bali. But we've got Dylan Fisher on today, so thanks for coming on, mate.
No, all good. Thanks for having me. Keen to be here.
Yeah, very cool. It's like full Kata dominance now.
You're outnumbered.
I'm outnumbered.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. Pop out a bloody Goji Shiro show.
I'd be keen to see that, to be honest.
Not in this room.
No, Kata days are over. Well, for those, I mean, surely everyone knows you right now, Dylan.
Yeah.
You're crushing the Kata scene right now. But for those that don't know, you have a pretty insane record here from the last couple of years. So
Yes.
since you came out of juniors, first of all, junior golds back-to-back Aussie Open and Nationals. Then from 2023 to 2025, gold in every under-21 division from Oz Open and Nationals. So that's 5 gold medals.
Yeah.
And then back-to-back national champion in seniors. You've represented the Oceania team 2022, 2025, 2023, 24. Wait, what is it? 2020, 4 years?
Yeah.
22, 23, 24, 25.
Yeah.
Junior World's representative 2022 in Konya, Turkey.
Yep.
2024 Venice, Italy.
Yep.
And even the Under-21 World Combat Games in
Yes.
2023 Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
It's a lot.
That is a lot, mate.
It's just a
you...
bit.
And for like, we've been thinking as well, like you've probably just always been like this, but I've sort of noticed that you've just sort of come onto the scene in the last couple of years, like since 2022.
Yeah. Like before that, my first Aussie Open was 2022. So didn't do anything apart from nationals before that.
Yeah. Wow.
Did all the state comps, all the state champs, and just nationals from about 2014, 15. And then not a single Aussie Open, not a single anything else until 2022.
And then you go on to Worlds that year.
Yeah. It was
That's
just
crazy.
It was a bit of a shock, to be honest. Just went to Aussie Open for the fun, like just not thinking much of it. It was only a few of us from our club. There wasn't many at all because I think COVID just finished, or it was just slowing down. And yeah, went there, won that, got invited to Oceania, might as well try it.
Yeah.
Won that. And then I got an email saying, you're going to Worlds. And I was like, okay, time to start saving.
Yeah.
And yeah, ended up in Turkey that year and it was just amazing. So,
Wow.
That's incredible.
yeah.
So good, hey?
So you said you did like nationals from 2014, 2015.
Yeah, it was the last time, not the Perth just gone, but the Perth before that. That would have been the last one I did. Or my first one, sorry. And not a medal in any of them.
Not even a bronze, nothing.
No. I did it for like 3 years, starting from 2014, had like a 2-year break because of high school.
Yeah, right.
And then came back just before COVID hit. And yeah, no medals until 2022.
Far out. That's
I do remember you competing as a junior, but I remember just like really noticing you probably around the time you started winning.
Yeah.
And not just because of that, but your Kata looked different.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't really know what it was. I guess being a new comp, the Aussie Open, never done it before, so I guess going into that I was a bit more switched on, a bit more, I've got to lock in for this. And then I guess it just worked. It was something new, that's the thing. It's something new, it's something different I've never done. So I guess that just switched my mindset a little bit into it.
So you're with Shobukan Martial Arts,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Have you always been with them since you
Always,
started?
since I was 3.
So you started when you were 3.
Started when I was 3 with Sensei Dion.
Yeah.
And still there now, so 17 years been training. But probably started competing at like 8 years old, little peewees or something.
Yeah.
Have you not seen the ads? I've seen all the ads for Shobukan.
No.
They're great at the ads.
Yeah.
And there's little Dylan.
Yeah,
really?
some of them,
Yeah.
some of them, like a yellow white belt at the front. Still small now, but like even shorter before.
Same hair.
Same hair.
Same hair. Same hair.
Wow, that's so good. I think it's like a really good, like testament to your character, like how much resilience you showed,
Yeah.
just to like commit to the cause and just keep working at it because like, you know, you didn't achieve, well, quote unquote, any medals, didn't achieve
No,
any like
yeah.
things like that until you broke out in 2022, and then it's just literally been no looking back for that.
Yeah,
So
Pretty
that
much.
is so insane.
Yeah.
So the Aussie Open was different. Was there anything different in your training, do you feel? Or was there like something that just caused that to accelerate?
I don't know. I think I didn't really feel like I switched anything up leading into that 2022 Aussie Open. I think after winning that and then realizing there's more opportunities down the track, that switched it up a lot.
Okay.
Going back, me and my sensei, we just pretty much switched gears into training, amped it up a lot because we've just found there's a whole new path now that I can take. If I went to an Aussie Open earlier and I won that, same thing would happen then. So I think, yeah, going there, winning that, getting the opportunities pop up, that switched the gears to a higher gear when I got back to Perth.
It's so funny. Usually everyone does like an Aussie Open first, and then they sort of upgrade, quote unquote, to nationals. But it's interesting to see like Aussie Open was like the secondary,
Yeah.
decision. Just quickly, like switching tack to like the other side of it. The Junior Worlds representation, and then the World Combat Games. This is like it's quite a big jump from competing just in nationals in the state leagues.
Yeah.
Then obviously doing a couple of Aussie Opens, and all of a sudden you're competing at the world's highest stage at that level.
Yeah.
Like, what was that like?
It was an experience for your first one, definitely. It was a big switch going from just Australia to the Worlds. It's kind of hard to like really put into perspective unless you're there. For me, it was just the goal. Like I felt like I've achieved one of the biggest goals I had was being on that world stage, knowing that I am at that level where I can compete with them. And just for it to all happen in a year was just incredible. Like in that year, I was still in year 12 that year, 2022. So it was a big year. And I felt like as the year went on, I did progress a lot in my katas and my skills. But yeah, it was just when you get to that world stage and you do step on that tatami, as yourselves would know, it was just an insane feeling just to be there. Definitely nerve-wracking, don't get me wrong. But yeah, insane.
I mean, Worlds is like a completely different level, and I think we face that same sort of issue of like, not issue, but we run into it as Australians. We always just compete at the local level, and then all of a sudden you're thrown into this deep end. And we've talked about it a couple of times, like, how can we get better at that? Do you know what I mean? How can we provide a better opportunity to then sort of ease you into it? Because sometimes it can be a bit of like a shocking experience.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's really difficult, I think, with our continental not necessarily being such a step up from national level. Like sometimes it is, but sometimes it's very similar to national level. And so it's quite difficult when you're then going to Worlds and you have that massive step.
Yeah, it feels like there's a small jump with the, like you said, the nationals to Oceania, and then all of a sudden you're stepping like another 10 flights of stairs when you hit the Worlds.
But yeah, and then going into the under-21 World Combat Games.
Oh,
this is something I actually didn't even know was happening until like it was all announced that it was going on.
Yeah.
Did you know about it? The World Combat Games?
No.
John?
I didn't even know about it until I got the email telling me I'm going.
This is like this is a common reoccurrence.
Book your flights.
Yeah, honestly.
Man, Dylan, get your flights sorted. You're going to this event.
They do that all the time. They just flick me an email and they're saying you're going, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I would love to go, but you need to give me more time.
Yeah. Got to take some time off work. But like, just run us through that. Like, what was this event like? Because it was a small event in terms of the numbers, right?
Yeah, so in terms of karate, I'm not sure about all the other sports. It was all just combat sports, so karate, taekwondo, judo, wrestling, sumo wrestling was there. That was insane to watch.
That would have been cool, yeah.
Boxing, like they had everything. So for karate, it was it was under 21 division only. 8 athletes for each division. Only 8. So be 8 for your kumite weight, female. So only 8. I got selected from winning Oceania, the regional. So I think they picked the winner, the gold medalist from each continental championship.
Yep.
And then I think they might have had 2 or 3 based off ranking as well. And maybe the gold medalist from the year before at the World Championships. So yeah, when I actually didn't know about it until I got the email late after Oceania. So I won Oceania, and I believe Isaac Hoshi, he actually came up to me and said, you're going to go to the World Combat Games. I'm like, what are you on about? What's that?
What is this?
What are you talking? There's no World Combat. And then I got an email saying I'm going. and it was just incredible to go. Just such a different experience. Saudi Arabia, the country was held, and they paid for like everything.
Whoa.
So they paid flights, they paid accommodation. They set us up in some villa that was around about 2,000 Australian a night.
A night.
A night.
And it was all covered.
They covered that entire hotel. I stayed with 4 different Kata athletes. Some from Turkey. And a Kumite athlete from the Netherlands.
Okay, yeah.
In like this villa, we had a house and we had a private pool, and we got driven in golf carts to I'm not even lying. To the house. So it was
this is not my experience of karate.
No, we're gonna have more comps in Saudi Arabia.
I'll go back in a heartbeat. It was amazing there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the competition itself, was it that round robin stage type?
Yeah. So
vibe off the
it was more like a round robin. I believe they had 2 pools. Yeah, 2 pools. So I did 3 rounds. Lost 2 of them. However, I did win 1. Against the Saudi Arabian that was competing for their country there. So that was my first win on like a world stage of a round. I was definitely happy with that. Didn't get through the actual round, the pool itself, but got a win against him. So yeah, it was 2 pools of 4, round robin, and you go from there.
Far out.
That's always tough when there's like 8 athletes. The level and the quality is just insane. So to be winning a round, especially your first one.
Yeah.
What was the vibes like there? That would have been insane.
The team was great. Like we loved it. We it sounds bad, but a smaller team, I felt like we connected a lot more.
Yeah, nice.
If that makes sense. When you got a big team, it's great because you got everyone cheering you on and whatnot. Smaller group though, I felt like you really got amongst each other a bit more because you had more time just to talk to the same people and get to know them a bit more. So it's really good camaraderie with the team there.
So good because that's what happens at Junior World Championships. You got the cadets, juniors, under 21s, all running around.
Got heaps.
It's chaotic, isn't it?
Yeah, chaotic.
Not as bad as Oceania when it's like
True. Oceania's insane.
Yes,
it's a lot of people.
But one thing I wanted to pick your brains about because for Kumite, competing at the local level, national level, and then competing overseas, it's quite different because the person you're fighting in front of you, it's a different level, maybe a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
So the mindset that I take into those fights is quite different. Maybe not like sort of effort wise, but just the way you approach it. For Kata, how does that change? Because I mean, I never really got to stand on that world stage very often.
I'd say it's going to vary for people. For me, I try and keep my mindset the same in terms of because in Kata, it's not going to matter who's next to you, to be honest. It's just going to matter how you perform. So if you're at a local level and you've got the mindset of a local level, it's going to be hard to then jump to a world level and find that world level mindset because how often are Australians on the world stage in terms of like, because people in Europe can drive 20 minutes and be at a Series A. They could probably have that mindset all the time. So for me, I always have the mindset of just do your best. How would I perform on the world stage? I'll do it here. That's what I like to think. Obviously, when you get up there, nerves hit a lot and it does switch it up a bit. But for me, that's how I like to keep my mind, is that if I'm like coming up at the Goju Open here in WA, I'll have the mindset of this is how I want to perform on the world stage, and that's what I want to compete like, for me personally. But people with Kata might that's how I do it.
Did you find that at all, John?
Yeah, I think with Kata, because it's just you, right? And it's such a closed system, you have to try and just exactly like you said, do it exactly how you want every time.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter who you're against. And I think sometimes that makes it easier when you go on to the bigger stage and you're like, I've done it like this, how I wanted.
Yeah.
What I always struggled with, and I wonder how you're dealing with, is like once you hit the best, you've been the best in the state for a while. And so like in some point there's not a whole lot of competition pushing you locally. How do you find that? Like there's some good competition nationally and then internationally you just don't go as often.
Yep.
So how do you find still driving?
I do sometimes find like the locals, you feel like you do hit a plateau where you've gotten to that point. I agree. But I then, if the mindset's not there for that, I would switch it into like more of a training mindset. So how can I get more mat time, more mat experience? That's what I do a lot of locals for now. Is, don't get me wrong, like I could slip up, someone could beat me, boom, I've got more competition now. But yeah, I use a lot of locals as also a training mindset as well.
And so when you're emulating that training-like environment, is it, because I can imagine you do full katas in training and in your dojo, so it's the same thing. I'm not saying.
You do it once or twice, you might do it start to finish every now and then.
Maybe. I know I get this comment all the time, you know, with the girls that do kata in our club, and they're just like, "Oh, we're doing full katas today." And I'm just like,
Oh,
"What?"
don't.
That's
I'll be
like-
lying if I've never said that. To be honest, I've done
it's
that
like,
a few
that's what you-
times.
that's what you do, right? Isn't that what you do?
Yeah.
Because you can really look at the comp day as like another training day where it's just full katas. you
Yeah.
know, and you're just walking out there practicing your routine,
Yeah.
turning your head in a certain way. Do you change that up? No.
Not personally. I don't
No.
know if other people do, but not personally.
Maybe like, would you do different katas
Yeah.
at different
So
levels?
I think it was toward the end of last year or the midway last year. I did bring out Papaden.
Mm.
I never do Papaden ever, and I did it for like 2 comps in a row locally, and then that's when I knew it's not going to be for me nationally or anything higher.
Why? How did you know?
It's just not. I don't know. It's just for me. I'm more of a. I found Papaden a lot in some spots softer, whereas I'm more of a. I rather stronger, harder hitting katas. So Ohan, more like katas that have a bit more oomph in them. Personally, nothing wrong with Papaden. Love it.
It's a beautiful.
And if someone
kata,
can do a really good Papaden, I would love to watch it. I just can't do a beautiful Papaden. So
And that's so interesting as well. Like, you have to tailor your katas to your attributes and your strengths.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
I mean, that's something I have no idea about. So like, how do you pick which ones are right for you? Like, do you just get a vibe, or is it just a chat with
yeah,
Dion?
vibe. It's definitely a chat with Senta Dion.
Yeah, of
Definitely
course,
a chat with Dion. But no, it's just practice, training, trying new things. That's the thing. You would know with kumite, if you've got a technique you want to try, a sweep or something,
Yeah.
you're going to try it. If it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. Same thing with kata. If you've got a new kata you want to try, throw it on the mat, see what happens. Like, if you lose, it doesn't matter. You're going to learn from it. So just throw stuff out there and just try new things. And that's what I did with Papaden, and I just knew it wasn't for me.
Do you how long did you always know Papaden, or did you have to learn it to?
Oh, I
then
learned it a
execute
while
this?
ago, and then I just never did it. And then I don't know what happened in training. I might have said something to Sensei Dion, or he said something, and then all of a sudden I was doing it at the next local. So I've learned a bunch of katas, but obviously I don't practice them a lot because I've got my set. And then sometimes I might chuck one out there, give it a shot. If I like it, then happy days.
Are you pretty happy with your set?
Yeah, well I've got 4 at the moment, and I'm trying to find a 5th.
Not Papaden.
Not Papaden.
Not Papaden. So that's what we tried. We tried my 5th as Papaden, and it definitely was Papaden.
Maybe we'll just help him out with the Shobukan one.
Yeah.
Sunside or
Yeah,
something.
go on.
Sunside is good.
I'll be keen
I
to
still
learn.
need to learn that. That's
a hectic kata.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. It's chaotic going on.
Has it fizzled a bit at world level? Everyone was doing it for a bit, and it's still there, but it seemed like everyone was like, "This is the new kata for Shotokan," and then it seems to like people going back to go to sheer shows and Kunka shows a little bit.
I'm seeing a lot more of them now.
Yeah, which I like. Kunkadai's coming back.
I never see Gunkaku. I never see it, and it's like one of the my most favorite katas. But maybe
You were really good at it. I think it's one of those ones where if you were saying about Papa, and if Gunkaku's not the kata for you, it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
Bring back the Luca Valdesi Gunkaku. That was so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is your list? Is it like trade secrets?
So no, I can say
Is it
my
like,
list.
we're
That's
not gonna-
fine. That's
we're not
fine.
gonna-
I've got Anan, Ohan, Anandai, Ohandai at the moment. I used to do Peiku a lot.
Yeah.
So obviously my style from Shobukan, my club, is Shitoru. However, I've switched to a lot more Riru. So all the Okinawan styles like Ryukina, I've switched to a lot more of that, and pretty much that's all I'm doing in comps now.
Where does Cypher sit in this?
No idea.
Just joking.
Did you come up during the Shite system, having to do Cypher and Cypher was Goju.
Oh, sorry, that's Goju.
I was gonna say that's Goju, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Seinchin.
Seinchin, yeah.
I know I never even did that. I think before I did all my Anandais and stuff, I did. Obviously, you had your compulsory, so I had Pinan Godan, Pinan Yondan, and then I had Basadai, Goju Shiho, Nipai Po. That was probably it.
Oh
that was
yeah,
my
Nipai
5.
Po.
Yeah.
That doesn't get a look in for your 5th.
It's still there. I actually don't mind that card. It is still there. It's a possibility.
I used to do that one. It's tricky. Some of it's tricky, that one.
Nipai
I
Po.
find. Yeah, just to
Yeah.
make it like look really good.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty tricky, but it is a fun card. I do like it.
So you'd never do like a Chatanyara or a Superumpe?
Oh, well, I have learnt them. They're on the
They're on the to-do
they're on
list.
the horizon. We don't know
Really?
yet. We don't know yet.
Chasanyara
Please.
is a great kata,
Yeah.
but man, you've begging for oxygen by the end.
Oh, you
Yeah.
are. And the thing with Chatanyara is a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've looked at also Chibana. Recently learnt that.
Cool.
So, but again, the 5th one's up in the air. We don't know yet.
What's that one that's like something no pasai? it's like Pasai or something like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I wouldn't be able to give you the first part of the name.
It looks cool because I saw it come up at the Aussie Open and I saw someone like doing it. I was like, man, I've never seen this before in my life, and it looked good. But I think people are just making up katas now.
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
you'll never be able to tell.
Yeah,
Never be able to tell.
No OGs anymore. Well, I like the idea of like sticking to a theme of like, you know, the Okinawan Ryoru.
Yeah.
Like strong, big moves.
It's because the fundamentals are all the same, so it's easier to pick up those styles of katas.
Yeah. Is there an option for that for your fifth?
Yeah.
Or have you kind of like
yeah.
burnt out
So
the
it'd
main ones?
probably be if I kept those styles of kata, it'd be Peiku again.
Okay.
I'll throw that back in. Competed with that for years and done it multiple times, so it's definitely not a bad kata.
How do you decide what order your kata's going in?
So a while ago, I wouldn't care. Like I just do
Just the same set.
Yeah, I do the compulsories and I do the same order every time. Even after compulsories, I would do the same order every time. But since 2022, and hearing about these other really good competitors, so you've got Kento, amazing competitor. When you start getting those levels of competitors, you got to start thinking about what's your stronger kata, what do you need to put where. So it changes each comp for me now because I need to place it so I know I'm gonna have my best shot at getting a medal.
That would suck though if you reserve a kata for later and then like something happens.
Yeah, and
that would just
that is the risk as
It's the
well.
worst feeling.
You feel so
It's
sick.
terrible because you think, do I put my strongest one first and get through a round and then not have it for the stronger competitor, or do I just go for a weaker one and hopefully it's good enough against this other person that might put their strongest one out?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, especially in the men's when all the compulsories gone and that. Like
Yeah.
if you're one of the top guys, lots of people are gonna have a crack.
100%.
They're gonna have an absolute crack, and you're doing.
You're doing probably your weakest one.
At some
hoping
point.
That must
Yeah.
be so hard to manage because like all these other guys that are coming through the men's division now, like the men's division in Kata is so good.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching
Yeah.
it at the Oceania qualification event, and then the Oz Open. It's stacked.
Yeah. It's just improving as well.
Yeah. So and people are obviously trying to come for you.
Yeah.
Right. You know, they put their best Kata forward, and you're having to sort of go, oh, I need to put this one that I don't really value much out first, and so you've got to make sure that all your five are your best as well.
Yeah. You're always going to have like your better katas. You're always going to have your stronger ones, your weaker ones. No matter how many times you train your weaker ones, you'll always have a stronger one. So it's just inevitable.
What's your favorite right now?
Oh, I thought it was Ohandai, but Onandai is creeping up. I'm liking that a bit more recently.
Okay.
So it's one of them two. They're my medal round katas.
Yep.
So it'd be one of them.
Is it because you win more with one of them?
So I didn't win last time I did this card. It's out. It's gone.
Yeah, this card is done. No, it's I just quite like them more than just Anan and Ohan. I don't know why. Just personal preference. Lots of people love Anan, but to be honest, that's probably one of my lower ones. I don't really enjoy that much. So
It's not as popular as it used to be. Anan used to be
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago. Everyone's final card. Like
I remember because I love Anan. I think
Yeah.
it's so great. Like I've always wanted to even learn it as well, but I think I never see it anymore. Or not never see it, but
it's always in the earlier rounds.
yeah.
it is interesting with the style of cards how they've kind of come out. Like obviously, Sensei Sakamoto did Anan, and then
Yeah.
at least from my perception of it, like I didn't even know about Ohandai, Anandai, and then now those cards have sort of come out because it was a bit of like Anan was really popular. I know it's not the same style, but Chachanyawa was really popular for a bit in that Shituru space, and then but now there's the Ohandais, Anandais, and all those seem to have just come up. It's like where were they when Anan was around?
Yeah, there was a
I would
big-
have loved to have been doing those.
Would you have done some of these katas now? Because like you would
When I was competing with that sort of style, I would love to have learnt those and like had a crack. Don't know if it would have been good. Yeah. Not as good as this guy.
Because I think you really like tapped into your strength and your power and like similar to like Dylan's style, like big movements. I feel that's the vibe that I got.
I think it would have
watching.
suited me a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I'll have to get him to teach me one day.
Yeah,
Done. Lock
get
it
back
in.
into it.
Yeah.
Make a return.
I don't know if I'm returning.
Why not?
Go on, you got. Is the registration still open?
Yeah.
Go you.
You're going to get me prepped for Ohandai?
Done. Let's do it.
A week and a half.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Well, we got a few things I want to talk about after the break, and you've sort of faced a few injury sort of struggles, work-life, training balance. You've got some shift work going on.
Yeah.
So that's going to take up a big portion of this pod. So
Yeah.
have a little break, get some water in you, and we'll come back. Okay, we're back from the break. This is take 2, unfortunately, but we're all good. We're sorted. Everything's recording. It's nice. Dill, you've been dealing with some injuries.
Yes.
Just one.
Well, there was two, but one's recovered.
One's recovered. We're
One's
all
recovered.
good.
Yeah.
I wanted to get your sort of take on that. I think it's pretty important to talk about injury management and how you deal with the rehab and also still obviously maintaining such a high level of competition.
Yeah.
So how did you do it first of all? What is it?
So I'm a police officer, as most people know now in the karate world. Basically, I was on the job. Something went down. One guy tried to take off from me, so I chased after him, and I just was a muppet, and I've tripped up. So I've tripped over. I've done like a forward roll over my left shoulder. I got up and kept running. It was like within seconds. I was like pretty impressed with it. And then once he
the karate,
I was like, yo, it was great. I didn't fall over and start. Like rolled, got up, kept going. Once the adrenaline worn off, about 5 minutes later, I couldn't move my left shoulder at all. I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't move at all. I had to get someone to help me get my phone out of my pouch and whatnot. So yeah, ended up doing damage to the AC joint, which is just like where the bones connect up with your shoulder blade and your collarbone. No ligament damage, which was good. Nothing torn, nothing snapped. It was just swelling, bruising, trauma to it. And I was like, all right, sounds like a good thing. Only be a doctor when I went there. Went straight to hospital that night, got x-rays, got sent home. Doctor said, 1 day in a sling and about a week and you'll be all right. I was like, sweet. What are we now? 4 months. This happened in start of Jan, 4 months, and it's still not the same. Jeez. So I ended up being a week in a sling, and I'm still doing physio and chiropractic stuff and whatnot to get it better. So yeah, it's not ideal, especially with training.
Yeah.
At the start of the year as well, just when you're about to amp up your training for the comps.
So you had like reduced ability with that shoulder for quite a bit. Like, what did you motivate to keep training and like keep feeling like you're progressing?
Yeah. Well, when I did it, I did stop pretty much all training for a while. Obviously because I'm in that sling, so I couldn't do much. Once I was out of the sling, I did a lot more leg work. I just went to the gym and just hammered the legs, which I hated because I hate training legs.
As nobody likes them.
But yeah, I just hammered legs, did a bit of core, and I genuinely did that for the entire month of Jan. And it got to a point where I didn't do a kata for probably the whole month of January. So not ideal. I think I really only started picking up my training at the start of March, so 1 month before the Aussie Open. So it was not ideal at all. And even then, I couldn't do full blocks without my shoulder hurting. I just had no power, no strength. I had most of my motion back, but just nothing behind the power at all.
So like rehab and stuff like that, what's that been like?
So it's just been working the shoulder, dry needling, hands-on physio. I did have a cortisone injection as well, which helped for that time being, but obviously a cortisone injection is never a full-term solution. So it helped for the time being, and it's just, I think ever since, I want to say, end of April, so a couple of weeks ago, mid-April, it's plateaued. So it's definitely not 100%, and I don't think it will be. I'm still getting physio every 2 weeks or so. I guess a good thing is I'm not paying for it because it is at work. I got it at work, so I'm not paying for any appointments. That's
Hell
good.
yeah, workers' comp.
Woo! But yeah, I'd rather be off workers' comp and not have the injury. But,
true, yeah.
And then during all of this, out of nowhere, I damaged my sciatic nerve down my leg. So then
Too much legs.
Yeah, probably. I probably trained my legs too much, and it was just getting too swell. But yeah, I just injured that somehow. There was like a pinch along the nerve somewhere, which was pulling all the way down the leg.
That one hurts.
Yeah,
it's sharp.
It's terrible. Every time I made
done your sciatic?
I'm pretty lucky.
Must be a kata athlete.
Yeah,
it must
all
be.
those deep.
Every time I did a Zenkutsu, like every time I did a front stance or a Zenkutsu, the back leg, when it was my back leg, my right leg, it would just pull.
Oh,
and like it just kills. So
how long was that for?
I want to say 2-3 weeks. So it wasn't too long, and that's recovered pretty quick.
So you had a few weeks you're just doing like left leg, right arm?
Pretty much, yeah. This one, yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
It's tough though. Like, I mean, as high level athletes, you get little niggles all the time and you just get all these tiny injuries and it sort of sets you back a little bit. But something as big as like the sciatic nerve and then your AC joint, they're pretty major injuries.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever get to a point where you're just like, oh, I'm just so over it?
To be honest, leading up to Aussie Open, I think it was I want to say I didn't do the first comp of the year, the Shobukan Open, but I did the state champs. And I think after I competed there, I did go up to my senseis and said, I want to pull out of Aussie Open. I did have that feeling and that mindset for a moment. And I felt like that for a good solid week after. Because I think between our state champs and Aussie Open, it was only a couple of weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah. So I think it was straight off the Aussie Open, like before I even left the venue, I went up to my senseis and said, I want to pull out because my shoulder's not ready at all. And then my thought process is I don't want to go to that comp, injure it more, be off for longer. And obviously for my work as well, I don't want to injure it again for that and be back stuck behind the desk. So yeah, there was a moment where I was like, no, I'm not doing the Aussie Open any more time. But
So then what happened?
I just said, stuff it, really. I'll just go and I'll take some Panadol and Nurofen and suck it up. And then I actually did all right. So
I love that. Just gritting your teeth and going through it. Sometimes you got to push through, right? Because your mind can play on you. Your
100%.
mind can just be like, oh, it's such a negative sort of mindset around it. And, maybe you don't perform as great as you wanted to at the Shobukan Open or didn't feel quite right. And you could easily have just gone, no, I'm not doing it. But that just speaks to the competitor that you are, which is really great to see. Because I know a lot of people struggle with this. Injuries are a big thing in our sport, and especially people, like a lot of people, doing their knees and, massive ankle injuries, and it just like sets you back months and months and months. So mindset is such an important thing, and you got to make sure you have like a really, strong team behind you. So I'm sure that you had some great support.
100%. But it's also, you don't want to, if you need the time off, you've got to take the time off. Like that's the other thing is you don't, if it's a bad injury and you need the time off, take it. So, I mean, I probably maybe did the wrong thing, but hey, I'm okay. It's still recovering. But yeah, just as long as it's an injury, you can put up with and you feel like you want to grit down and do it 100%.
Did you ever have a massive injury, John? Set you back?
I had like a really bad back once, like really bad. And I remember deciding to compete in a local state league comp. I couldn't walk for a week afterwards. I did the Katas and my back was seizing and I felt okay, but it was like seizing. And then the next day I just like had to lay down.
Really?
Yeah, and even that was hurting. I didn't compete too much. I did get some knee injuries like later on, nothing major. Still happens actually today if I like do an MP jump for the kids to show them. And I go, I should not be doing that anymore. But I like to think it's because I don't warm up.
Yeah.
Not because I'm old.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No comment. No comment.
No comment.
Oh, man, I would have commented so hard on that.
But it's tricky to deal with the disappointment knowing. I remember one I think it was a nationals in Perth. Actually, that might have been your first one. But fuck no, I'm old. But I was sick. I was so sick. I came down with a flu the day before, and I couldn't even ki, and I just had
that's the worst.
Just a mess. And I remember like really struggling mentally with like I'm clearly not on my best. No, it was over East. I'd flown over, and I'm like I have to compete. So that was hard, but you just kind of push through, I guess. And if your, like you said, your injury or whatever illness in my case, that you still can compete. I guess it's just that mental frame of I'm not going to be 100%. Today my 100% is 80, but I'm going to give that like as best you can.
So good.
Yeah.
Moving through to you touched on you're a police officer.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Good fun.
That is pretty sick.
It's a good fun job.
How long have you been a police officer for?
It's going to hit a year this month.
A year this month.
Yeah,
wow. That's so cool.
Since I've
Congratulations.
graduated. Yeah. Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. So, talk about like it's obviously pretty intense with shift work or like just your schedule's changing a lot. I was talking to you last week about, what that's like, and you just sort of don't really know what it's going to be week to week.
Yeah, so every station runs a different roster. So for where I am, it's we do a 6 on 4 off shift, week. So we do a 2-day shift, a 2-hour shift, a 2-night shift, and then 4 days off. Technically 3 off because the first day off you're sleeping because you're coming off a night shift.
Yeah.
And it's good because it's like a set order, so you can get used to it. But in terms of training, you might have a night shift on a Tuesday night one week, and then the next week you're doing a day shift on a Tuesday and a night shift on a Saturday. So it's always changing. So, I mean, with the recent state trainings, the last 2, unfortunate for me, I've been coming off a night shift. And then sometimes I've got stuff I need to do during the day, so I'm only having 2 hours of sleep, doing what I need to do, then going to training and trying to train off 2 hours of sleep. It's definitely not good for your mindset at all and your headspace at that. But I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, like that's hard as well because surely you're not getting the most potential out of your physical abilities when you're
Yeah.
training because like your sleep is off, your routine is off. Well, because I mean, your routine is your work, right?
Yeah.
That is your routine, but
Yeah.
your training routine is just sort of has to fit around that.
Yeah, I've done that a lot for the last year. So with Sensei Dion, we've been doing when I'm on a night, we would train during the day.
Yeah.
He's been really good with it. I'm very lucky to have him as my sensei. He's been helping me a lot, fitting in trainings where we can. But yeah, I can't have a set like Monday night I do this, Tuesday I train this, Wednesday I train. It's legit. Oh, I've got an hour, I might go to the gym. Oh, I've got 2 hours, I'm going to go to the dojo. Oh, I've got no time, I'm going to go to work, type of thing. So it's day by day.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's
That
a
is
shock.
actually crazy.
It's a big shock.
And you know, how do you mentally adjust to that? Because like it must just be you know, as you go, you're having to always adjust.
Yeah.
And so, you know, let's say next week you're like, maybe you finish a training session on Wednesday, but then you can't do that again next week. So you have to go, all right, well, how do you compartmentalize those things like work and training? Because there's no consistency with your schedule.
It's gonna. I feel like we're talking about mindset a lot here, but
I know,
like that's all it comes down to is your
Yeah.
mindset. It's how bad do you want to improve? You know, how bad do you want that gold medal? How bad do you want to go to Worlds, and what do you want to experience? It's going to come down to that. If you don't want it that much, you're not going to push yourself to that limit to train and stuff on while you're working shifts. But if you want it, then you're going to find a way to do it, and you're going to find a way around it. So that's what I like to do is I try and find my way around it. If I've got only half an hour and I can only do a 10-minute run, I'll do a 10-minute run.
So still trying to just get something in. Even
Yeah,
if you're off a night shift, it's not going to be your best.
Like I like night shift on some days, but then I hate sleeping during the day because you wake up in the afternoon and I just feel groggy. I wake up and I'm like, no, I hate this. It's sun's going down. You've just woken up. You just feel terrible. But then training obviously always is going to make me feel better personally. So anytime I can train and I've got the time to do it, I'll do it.
That's insane.
That's hectic. I don't think I could do that.
Nah,
I'm gonna just throw it out there.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just mindset. And I'm nah.
Oh, it's not easy.
It's just mindset. Yeah, that's what I'm like. How do you do that? Because I'm
just hearing you talk, I'd be thrown for a loop of like, when am I eating before training?
Oh,
and after
don't
training,
even
like that
start
must
with
be
eating.
really hard to have. When you're training, you can be very consistent with like, I'll have dinner or eat 2 hours beforehand, and I'll eat afterwards, and I've prepped everything. I feel like it's easier. Mitch is like, I don't do that. You should.
I wish I could do that.
But that must be just impossible.
Yeah, like even when you're working, sometimes you've got one of them shifts. It's hectic, and you don't get your meal. Like you don't get your break. You don't get your meal break. So you go a whole 10-hour shift without eating. Maybe you'll get a pack of
Too
beef
much
jerky
crime
or
in
something.
old Perth.
too much crime in Perth.
Honestly, and then you no. It's not bad in Perth, but yeah, it's just sometimes you get no break, and then let's say it's an Arvo shift, you get home at 1 a.m. You shouldn't sleep. You shouldn't eat before you sleep. But then I'm gonna eat because I'm starving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So meals as well isn't the easiest, but all of that considered, the job's great. I love the job. I do love it, and I love the training. So
good.
Yeah, it's probably really important that you love both.
Yeah,
So those challenges,
100%.
you're like, I love doing this, and I love this. I'll make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
I just hope you can still keep doing it for many more years to come.
That is the plan.
Yeah, because
That is the
it's
plan.
really good seeing just your career sort of pan out the way it's going. It's awesome to see for sure, especially like WA represent in the national level.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a couple of listener comments and questions here for today's episode. But before we start, we actually had a special listener in from last episode, Ali El Sawi. I'm not sure if you've heard of the name. Have you heard of the name? Yeah.
Couple times.
World champion, a grand winner, like multiple world medalists. He's an amazing fighter. And we were obviously commenting about the fight between him and Saeed Ubaya last Premier League. And yeah, so he listened to the podcast, which is great. And he was like, tell me which points didn't score. And I was like, oh God. I'm sweating. Nathan's like written in. He's just like, and funny, he's not here as well.
Yeah, because Nathan made the comments, right? Let's throw him under the bus.
Should we throw him under the bus? But he actually wanted to say that he rewatched the fight and he would like to sincerely apologize. Didn't mean any disrespect or anything like that, that's for sure. But on this pod, we make comments and we just call things how we see it sometimes, and Nathan sometimes gets excited. But he did say that there was a head kick that made perfect contact from Ali that he thought shouldn't have scored because Saeed got a Chudang Gak beforehand that didn't score. You know, the criteria on that is what it is on that day. But that's probably what he was commenting on, that sort of instance. But he was also saying that Nathan was saying that Ali was also a bit unfortunate not to get a score in the last second. From the stream watching and all that, it's hard to judge and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, this is what we do on this podcast. We make comments and things like that. But it's good to know that Ali's listening into.
It's great.
Maybe we should get him on.
I think it'd be fantastic.
He'd do it. I reckon he'd do it as well.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
Ali, if you want to jump on, we'd love to get you on. That'd be great. Zane Saavedra. I don't know if I'm saying that name right, but he's asking you a question.
Yes.
Dill. He's saying, what is the most important part of training outside the dojo?
Yep. So
Legs.
legs, yeah, more legs. I mean, it depends on what you mean by training outside the dojo. So for me, you can look at that question two ways. You've got obviously your gym work, your cardio work, or your not karate training. Very important. For me, the most important part outside of the dojo while you're training is knowing what you're doing. So it sounds kind of dumb, but when you're at the dojo, you've got your senseis, you've got your peers next to you, you've got people saying, "Hey, improve this, do this, train this, let's work on this." When you're outside, it's just you. So you've got to know, like, you'll be your own sensei, you'll be your own peers watching you. So when I'm training outside, I like to make sure I really know what I'm trying to train. So if it's at the gym and I'm training power, I know that I'm training power, if that makes sense. If I feel something's off, I make sure I fix it. So for me, it's knowing what I'm doing while I'm training and what I'm aiming to improve outside the dojo, because you've got no sensei there to help you. That's what I find really important.
That's the biggest thing about our sport as well. We don't really have, like in AFL, you know, you've got the team and they have a on-field tactics coach and a skills coach, and then they've got the gym coach and the mobilities coach. They've got everyone just telling you what to do. So you're essentially a robot that you walk in, you get told what to do, and you do it. Yeah. Whereas our sport and the resources that we have, you know, we're pretty lucky. You know, you and me, we got a great team around us. Yeah. But we've had to foster that because there is no one to tell you, do this at the gym, do this cardio, do this mobility. Like, there's just your senseis in the dojo that tell you how to fight or do kata. Yeah. So that's something that I reckon that, you know, we should talk about more, I guess, and how can you get the most out of yourself in those areas outside of the dojo, because it's just like everyone's winging it, you know? Even myself, like I've just wung it for the last however many years of competing.
I think it's something that's changed the last 15, 20 years as well. Like, I'm sure everyone was always doing some level of fitness. Yeah. But it was almost like there was this old school mentality of you'll get fit through karate. Like, and then, you know, do deeper stances if you want to get stronger legs. Whereas now you see like the fitness that some of the kata guys are doing, and I've forgotten her name, the Spanish kata. Sandra Sanchez, Ariel Torres. I see a lot of his stuff. Like, there's some crazy fitness going on, and I'm sure some of that's for Instagram, but it's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of physical training going on.
It is.
Dude, have you seen some of Ariel's training videos?
I've seen.
You love them.
I've seen
that guy trains for like 10 hours a day.
You like swipe like 10 times. They're all different training videos. It's like,
how does he do it?
And I'm watching. He does leg day. I'm gonna say he does leg day.
I think every day's leg day for that man. Like, genuinely,
he does leg day. And mindfulness we were talking about. He's got his little diaries and stuff.
Yeah, man, he's really good with that stuff.
The drawings that he puts in there, like the scrapbooking that's involved in that diary.
I just knew if I tried it though, I wouldn't be able to. I'd feel embarrassed because I'd look at his and I'd look at my stick figures. And he's done like 3D people in his book.
He's drawing someone full in a stance and everything like that. It's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
But that's also really important. Just like, making sure that you're just taking information from everyone else and just sort of making the best decision for yourself. Yeah. So you how do you do that? Are you you got some sort of guidance outside of that?
To be honest, no. Like it's just my sensei really, Sensei Dion. He's pretty much my main everything. I've got Sensei Tim as well. He's another one of my good coaches, and Sensei Roscoe, who's also from our club. But yeah, outside the dojo, it's genuinely just me. Like I can take a mate to the gym, but they do kite surfing. They don't do karate. It's a bit different.
Sure. Yeah. So have you gone and researched a lot on, like you talked about, like power development, because that's in the gym very different to like strength development or like endurance.
I have researched that. I've done some googling. Yeah, just ways to become more flexible or ways to do this. But again, it's it's going to come down to you, isn't it? Like, as if you know what you want to improve, then Google that and then improve that. As long as you're aware of what you're trying to work, I find that's what the most important thing, because there's no point in going to the gym, jumping on the treadmill for half an hour and be like, yeah, you burnt some calories, but what you get out of it, type thing.
Sure.
So,
ChatGPT, everything. How do I do this?
Make me a power program.
Yeah.
make me a Kata world champion.
Yeah. And Nathan, he felt a bit left out on this podcast. He said he was jealous that we were interviewing you.
He feels left out.
Yeah.
We're not in Bali.
Yeah, that's right.
He's sitting by the pool right now.
Yeah,
enjoying
having a
himself.
little mimosa or something like that. Anyway, he says, do you find Kata translates and is useful when it comes to your career as a policeman?
I wouldn't say Kata specifically. I would say karate as a whole. Definitely gives you the skills of like, I think, because the main reason I started karate, or what my mum and my parents have told me, is that I was pretty short, pretty small.
Yeah.
So when I was 3 years old, it was mainly to build confidence in myself, and using that out on the street definitely helps. Like, we all know I'm short, so I'm always talking to like adults who are like double or triple my height, and you've got to tell them what to do. You can't be scared or worried about that. So in terms of karate as a whole, in confidence and just resilience in yourself, 100%. Skills as well from karate have helped. Like Kata. I mean, I'm not going to go up to someone and do an Ohundai on them, but like just self defense skills, like blocking, moving, some takedowns. Like, yeah, definitely has helped for sure.
Far out.
For sure.
It's good to know
That's
that,
really cool.
that karate is... Maybe we need a karate program in the police system.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Maybe you can lead it.
Oh, yeah.
Future
Yeah,
career
okay.
path.
That's it, yeah. New career path for
Do a
you.
couple of seminars in the academy.
There's something there for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, there's not really much else to go on about this, but thank you so much, Dylan, for coming on.
No. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
It's
It's
actually
been
been
awesome
quite,
having you.
Yeah, it's really good
good
to
to-
pick your brains.
it's good to talk about stuff because you don't get the chance really. Like, you're
Yeah.
always training, you're always working, you're always doing something, but you never actually get to sit down and actually talk about this type of stuff. So, no, thank you. Thank you.
That's good. John mentioned something before. It's like we're always trying to just get the next thing.
Yeah.
Next comp, next
Yeah.
thing. So,
It's good to look back, celebrate your achievements, and look forward to the next lot. I
Yeah.
guess.
very good.
That's it.
All right. As always, please let us know your thoughts and opinions and everything you'd like us to chat about. After all, we're an organization for you. You can send us an email at kaizenculture.info@gmail.com. Sign up to the mailing list to be the first to hear about everything that's going on, or better yet, just simply hit us up in our DMs on Facebook or Instagram. Thanks, boys. Special thanks to Dylan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan.
See you on
Thank
the next
you.
one, John.